Hi, and welcome to the third video in the series for Mercury, the Messenger. My name is Wayne, and I'm the artist behind this project. We're now on week 3, and I've made some radical changes, improvements if you will, to the composition, and I'm very excited to share those. While the central figure remains the same, the focus has now shifted to a more triune conceptualization, and if that piques your interest, stick around and make yourself comfortable. Thank you once again for participating in our series by watching and enjoying the content on Rodney Illustrations, the place for art, mysticism, and all of that fun stuff. Please remember to hit the like and subscribe buttons, and with that, let's go. The first addition to the composition on what is effectively the left column is my depiction of Mars and Gemini. Mars is represented as the Tower in the Tarot, and Gemini is represented by the Lovers. In keeping with my ethic for global fusion, I've decided to use the Orisha Ogun to represent the Martian energy. Mars is known as the bringer of war, and certainly with the Tower card it represents destruction and dissolution, which is a necessary part of life. The key is using that energy in a constructive way. It is said that Mars and Gemini can sometimes have a restlessness to their energy, and often this energy gets channeled through the hands. Just as a side note, I've personally found that this is the case, and I found that a good way to offset some of that is through the discipline of martial arts, which I've been involved with for quite a few years now. In the right column we have Jupiter in Gemini, again situated in the appropriate place on the Tree of Life as Hesed in the Pillar of Mercy. And since both Mars and Jupiter are under the aegis of Gemini, so to speak, in my chart, I've consolidated everything so that they now represent at least idiosyncratically two different polarities. The Jupiterian energy being depicted as Minerva Fortuna, a kind of combined duo form, and I did this because, as I said in the previous video, Jupiter is the Wheel of Fortune card in the Tarot. I've used the tarot cards from the Global Fusion Intuitive Tarot deck to illustrate this concept, but just as a disclaimer, this is not a Kabbalistic diagram by any stretch of the imagination, even though it's obviously been influenced by the Tree of Life. This is just my own artistic depiction of what I think is taking place within my chart based on my own observations throughout life. In the actual tree, Mercury, like Mars and Saturn, occupy a place in the Pillar of Severity and is the 8th sphere, whereas in this artistic composition, Mercury resides in the middle pillar, where its function is more closely associated with the chakra system and represents the throat chakra. At the top of the central column we have the Magician, signifying Mercury, followed by the archetype of the Hermit, representing the ascendant sign of Virgo. Next we have the Lovers, representing Gemini, the twins, as a metaphor for duality with the polar aspects on the opposing columns. Then we have Mars and Gemini, Mars being represented by the Tower, and last but not least, Jupiter as the Wheel of Fortune in Gemini. Now, all of these considerations were made knowing that there were considerable artistic liberties being made, even when it came to the choice of deities that I was working with. I could have chosen maybe Sekhmet instead of Ogun, or Zeus instead of Minerva Fortuna, but sometimes it's best to trust your intuition, and just like the independent systems that these symbols are drawn from, the Kabbalah, the chakra system, the Greek pantheon, the African orishas, planetary magic, etc. Just like these systems sometimes have overlaps but are mostly independent maps to our psyche and the universe itself, maybe this new thing that is inspired by those other things is its own unique thing in and of itself. You can let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. Thank you for watching. I am Wayne, artist and illustrator, and the creator of the Global Fusion Intuitive Tarot deck, published by US Games Systems. The deck is now available, and I've left a link in the description of this video if you want to acquire it. Thank you for your time. Please remember to like and subscribe, and have a wonderful day. We'll see you next time.